thanksgiving. Anybody here thankful tonight? And it's his voice. With praise you, Lord. We bless your name. We praise you, Lord. From the rising of the sun to the setting of the sun, we praise you, Lord. Yes, we do. We praise you, Lord. Hey, we bless your name. We bless your name. We bless your name. We bless your name. We praise you, Lord. We praise you, Lord. We praise you, Lord. We praise you, Lord. We clap our hands. We clap our hands. We clap our hands. We clap our hands. Hey, we lift you up. 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 For one more day. For one more day. We thank you for one more day. One more day. Just one more chance. 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 Just one more day. Just one more day. Just one more day. We lift you up. We lift you up. We lift you up. We lift you up. Higher, 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 higher. We lift you up. Higher, 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 higher. We lift you up. Right there, higher, 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 we praise you, Lord. We praise you, Lord. We were created for none other than to praise you, Lord. That's what we were created for. So we lift our hands and praise you. We lift our hands and worship you. For you have been so good. You have been so good. You've been better to me than I could be to myself. You've been better to me than I could be to myself. Lord, I'm not worthy to stand here in your presence, but thank God for grace and mercy that has kept me all day, kept me all week, kept me all the way. And so I praise you, so I praise you, so I lift you up, so I'm going to magnify you. If no one else gives you glory, I'll give you all the glory, because you're worthy of the glory.
Connecting the community Through gospel, the new 980 AM, WDDO, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Mother Georgia, she's back on live, the historic 980 WDDO. All of a sudden, let's go live into the studio with our host, Brenda Sutton.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. Deacon, why are you grinning like a Cheshire cat?
Because I am happy. Don't worry, be happy.
See, there you go. You know, don't worry, be happy.
Happy.
You know what? You ought to learn how to work.
Don't worry, be happy now.
Lord help him.
Don't worry. Be happy.
Hit that share button, right?
Here's a little
Hello, everyone. That's right.
Hit that share button because we had a
hit the share button.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to into our show because it's kind of a serious show today. Mm-hmm. But guess what though? When they told us we had
4,720 viewers
last week.
Awesome. And we thank everyone for listening in and hope that you're here again today and you brought a friend.
Right. We need you to bring a friend. We also need to make sure that what's a dial-in number? Because everybody
478-250-1444.
And we definitely want you to call in, right?
Yes, we do.
And to all the mothers, if we missed you last week, happy what?
Mother's Day. Happiest Mother's Day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had a really nice Mother's Day. What about you, Emily?
Mine was pretty good. It could have been better, but it was great.
I had an awesome Mother's Day. My children reached out to me and it was just really great. What about you? You know what though? Mother's Day ain't happy for everybody. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of sad for people too.
Actually, as you know, a while back, I was touring the country with a play, and the director of that play contacted me, and he too has lost it. He has lost his mother recently, a year ago, and he got me on a Zoom call, and a gentleman, Mr. Coley from Chicago, and another gentleman from Philadelphia, and we share stories about how it is to have Mother's Day without your mother.
Wow.
And we just we were hoping that it would add some healing to some people and some understanding to some people of that, God is the answer, and you never forget it, and the pain is not going to go away, but you do learn how to deal with it differently. So that's always a trying time for me.
It is a trying time. I went to see my mama, and one day I'm going to teach Mama how to do Zoom. Mama, 87 years old. She got an iPhone 11. That's all I got to say. My mama got an iPhone.
Do not teach her. My mom has an Instagram, 2 of them, and I'm not exaggerating. My mother has 2 Instagrams. She has 2 Facebook. No,
I'm going on TikTok and find y'all's parents. I know they're on their TikTok.
But look at my mama's probably TikToking. I mean, no joke, because she was up there. I got a picture on Facebook of her rubbing the money on there.
Yeah,
trying to see if it's counterfeit.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That was my and she had a little cake in the back. I'm kind of mad with her because she just can't stop her from cooking. She made 3 sweet potato pies.
I did see those pies over there.
Yeah, in that picture, I saw that.
Yeah, she had 3 sweet potato pies and
a wonderful
pineapple
Brenda
cake.
Sutton-Williams.
Oh, somebody like Mama don't play.
Us anything.
Right.
Mom, you right? Mama don't play. Mama awful. She done went out today and bought her some new furniture. Help her, Jesus. Help her, Jesus.
Your mama say she finna go be sitting and relaxing in style.
That's what she said. She what she had the nerve to call and tell me, Johnny?
What?
I need some pillows. I need some pillows to go on there and add some color to it. And I need my pillows. I need my rug to match my pillows. There you go.
Absolutely. And she should get those things that she desires.
Listen, on Mother's Day, I know this is not what we're talking about for the rest of the show. But my husband says this is how he feels, right? He says that Mother's Day is for children to celebrate their mothers, not for husbands. So he feels like husbands should not be first in line to give their wives or the mothers of their children anything for Mother's Day. He says that's for the children. So what do you guys think about that?
You know, I know I'm going to get in trouble, but I do see the logic in it.
I see the logic, but
I do see the logic.
Like, because I told him, I was like, okay, I see where you're coming from, but still, you know, it's like we work hard all year long. We take care of not only you guys, but the children. And I'm like,
but that's kind of saying that he doesn't do anything to take care of the children.
Well, you know what my husband said? He's so crazy. He said we went to our favorite place to eat S&S, and it was so crowded on Mother's Day, you really couldn't get in. He said, that's all right. Father's Day coming, you'll just be able to walk through.
Well, you know what? You're right. I have always, on Father's Day, though, for my husband, I've always made sure he had a really nice Father's Day. To me, it's just weird not to. It's like, you know, I want to show my appreciation for how well you do. And you know.
But you know, remember the Cosby Show kind of showed us about how Father's Day is treated as opposed to Mother's Day.
You know, and that is so true.
It is true.
You know, we picked a serious subject, and I hope our callers is going to be calling in. We've got special guests that are going to be coming in. I'm
trying to unmute.
Lynn Snyder and also LJ Malone, and they're supposed to be coming in. We've got LJ that'll be coming in. That'll be talking about Black Vote Matters. You know. And,
that's very important.
Yeah, and I hope that he remembers. I sent him the thing. I sent him the link, and he hasn't told me that he wouldn't be here. So I hope that everything works out.
Yeah, hopefully, because it is such an important subject matter that we really do need to gain more understanding about.
You know, he said he was going to be here, and I know that Lynn Snyder is from Georgia Women, and those who said Lynn does her Lynn's list, and she sends out like this really neat list of information. There's Lynn. Hey, Lynn, how are you?
Hello, beautiful.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for being here.
You know, Lynn, I'm excited. In fact, I was just getting ready to introduce you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, my sister. I am one of the presidents, we have two of them, of Georgia Women and Those Who Stand With Us. Brenda's on the steering committee of that. Emily, I know you and Johnny have played at one of our fundraisers for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and we are a social welfare organization, and one of our core principles is fair and representative elections. So this last election cycle, we were calling and emailing our representatives and senators, or the state ones, to try and get them to not write these voting laws. And they did it anyway. They did it anyway. Yes.
And you know, a lot of the people that are listening, because, you know, if you saw my Facebook post, we had like over 4,000 people that came on. So I was just like that listened to us. So this is a great platform. This is a great platform for us to talk about the voter suppression. So can you just kind of tell us what's going on with that? Because you know.
Okay, so in case everyone, I'll just kind of give a little background in case everyone is unaware. The House and the Senate had two separate bills, and the Senate, towards the end of the session, put forth a 2-page bill called SB 202, and it morphed into a 98-page bill, most of which was voter suppression, but not all. I mean, you can't say that all of it is. I'm going to give them a little benefit of the doubt. And the Senate passed it. They put it over to the House. The House passed it the same day, and the governor signed it that night, within 2 hours.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Because a lot of people hear voter suppression, but they don't really know what it is or how does it work? How does it look? Can you describe voter suppression for those that don't? really understand what that really means in actuality?
Okay, if you think about when Black people got the right to vote, actually, they were supposed to have gotten the right to vote once emancipation occurred, but in 1965, the Voters' Rights Act was passed, and our favorite John Lewis was part of getting that passed in the House and Senate. It gave Black people the right to vote without any voter intimidation, without having to take a literacy test, without having to count the number of jelly beans in the jar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they had to do all
Yes.
that. Mhm.
Without having to recite the Constitution, you could go, you could register to vote, and you could vote. You were told where you could vote, and you would go to that place and you would vote.
Mhm.
Anything that suppresses the ability to vote easily, and it is a form of voter suppression. So what happened with this bill is they cut the absentee ballot time considerably by more than half. So you could request an absentee ballot. You can turn that ballot in. It worked great especially during the time of COVID. Now they've decided that worked too well, so they cut that down. From the drop boxes, remember Bibb had 3 drop boxes. It's down to 1 box per county, or per 1 box per 100,000 people.
Wow.
So
So
that's
now
one for us, right?
That would be
Because
just one
we
for us, right?
1 for us. So it will be one
One
for
drop box for the whole county.
for the whole county. So if you want to drop your ballot off and you don't have transportation, then you're going to have to mail it in. But now getting your absentee ballot time in on time is restricted because it has to be there by the day of the election. It used to be by midnight. Now it's not. Okay. Next thing, getting back to that 1 drop box per 100,000 people. DeKalb County had 32 drop boxes in the 2020 election. There will only have 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're kidding me, Lynn.
You said DeKalb County?
DeKalb County.
We'll only have 8 boxes. They went from
Wow.
32 to 8. That's why I wanted Lynn to come
Wow.
on, because it's really important that we understand what's happening here.
So it gets worse. Now those drop boxes have to be inside the Board of Elections.
What?
Yes. They have to be in Bibb inside the Board of Elections. In other places, they would have to be inside an early polling place. But we only get 1, so it will be in the Board of Elections.
We only get 1 box.
We only get 1 box. It has to be inside the Board of Elections, and that means it's only available when the Board of Elections is open.
It's open.
That's what
Right.
I was sitting here thinking. Like, okay.
Absolutely. So if you planned on dropping off your ballot after you got off work at 6 o'clock, or Board of Elections is closed.
And we know that that is certainly an effective way to voter suppress, because if Lyft and Uber wouldn't be so successful if everybody had cars.
Right.
So that is proof positive that it's going to suppress people from voting, because everybody doesn't have a credit card to call a Lyft or Uber and those types of things. So there are a lot of variables there. Wow.
Yes, exactly. Now, it was a huge thing in the press about offering food or water to voters waiting in line. And that's a misdemeanor now under this law, with up to 1 year in jail if you are arrested and convicted of offering food and water to someone waiting in line. Which really, really upsets me, because Governor Kemp, in one of his press conferences, was asked about that, and he said, it's no big deal. You can just call Uber Eats or DoorDash and have food delivered. And I thought, okay, well, aren't they breaking the law bringing you food to them? Isn't that a violation of the law because you are providing food? even though you're buying it. It didn't make any sense to me. I did see that Senator Ossoff has introduced a bill that would, it's called the Voter Access to Water Act.
And who was this that introduced it?
Ossoff.
Senator Ossoff in the federal government. He has introduced this, which would allow people to provide water to voters waiting in line. And he cited particularly senior citizens who are in the heat and can get easily dehydrated. So we'll see what happens with that. But
I want to make sure I understand this correctly. So
Okay.
if there's a long, massive line and it's 90 degrees outside, 100, whatever, I can literally go to jail for up to a year if I'm caught giving them bottles of water.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's while I'm actually on the property. Or what if the line goes around the corner? Is that still like, I'm trying to figure out how legally they can.
So they're tying it into a political bribe or statement. What how does?
Yes, they're saying
how they're going to uphold that.
Well, that's a big question. I know that when this bill first passed on Facebook, people were all over it saying, I'm going to drive all the way from California to hand out water and things like that. So people were willing to break the law and because it's so absurd. They did compromise and say that the Board of Elections could provide water. You'd have to come inside and get it, but that was the compromise in the bill. But once you get inside the building, it's cool. So
right, and you're not in there for that long, so that kind of defeats the purpose.
Right. So it's just mean. It's just nothing but mean.
Yeah, that's mean spirited.
Yes.
I just wonder if there's a way around that. I mean,
Yeah, I can't imagine that the sheriff is going to be standing around waiting to arrest people for giving out water. But I can imagine if someone did, it would create a lot of problems. I can see people getting really angry and calling the police. There are a lot of really ugly people out there. So,
I really wanted you to get it out because, the main thing, we're trying to get LJ on right now. So if I need to get up and just kind of go and get him, situated because he's having problems getting logged in. But the main thing is, it seems like we're locked in.
Yes, we are.
It seems like, so there's like nothing we can do.
Correct. There's some other things that are even worse. So I started
Can you
with
go over that real quick? And I'm going to go quick and I get LJ on, okay?
Yes. An individual can protest an unlimited number of voter registrations. Okay, so and votes. So let's say your last name is Garcia or Rodriguez or Velez or a name that sounds Latino. An individual can challenge every single one of those votes. Just because they say, well, I don't think they're really citizens of the United States, so I'm going to challenge those votes. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Johnny. I couldn't hear your question, Johnny, sorry. Are you, Emily? Yeah, no, I have no sound. Can you hear me? Yeah, but I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
This is insane.
It is insane. And we're trying to do everything we can. I'm trying to get LJ Malone on.
Okay, we've got Lynn back. Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us
now? I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Now tell us about that name.
Yeah. Because my last name is Amos. So that's traditionally that's a Spanish last name. Obviously, I'm not Spanish. So somebody could actually contest my ballot just based off of my last name.
And what that would mean was you would have to go into the Board of Elections after the election is over and prove who you are. Now that makes it very, very difficult for people who don't have transportation, and just they can also challenge. I'm always giving the Spanish last names, but I'm going to give the ethnic first names also as some examples. Like you might have Jamal or Tamika, and they could challenge all of those names too. Unlimited number. Jeez. Now they have to get a hold of the ballots first. They would have to get a hold of the names first, but and I'm sure there are ways people can get hold of other people's names, other voters' names, but that's just something that could happen. So that's really scary.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. It also gives poll watchers power.
Now that's the part that I think is interesting.
What is poll watchers?
Poll watchers. I was there, and there was a gentleman there, and they are allowed to have guns. Am I correct inside the polls?
That's a good question that I can't answer.
I don't know if they were, but I know when I was there, they had these very intimidating poll watchers. When I went in, and I asked the woman, I said, "Who are you?" And you know what you're doing watching me? She said, I said, "What's your name?" You know, I mean, I just kind of quiz her. No, you're not going to just watch me.
Now, the poll watchers. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, the poll watchers can be very intimidating.
Yes.
So their job is to do what? Watch just, I mean, to literally just watch how I vote, watch if I'm trying to do something sneaky. Like, what is their job?
Their job is only to observe, to make sure that someone's not taking two ballots or someone's not filling out a ballot for someone else. And they were required to stay a certain distance away in the 2020 election. But now, and I believe that was 6 feet. Now it's 3 feet. So they can kind of lurk around while people are filling out ballots. And they can also take pictures. Now,
what?
Yeah, they can take pictures.
Mm-hmm. You're kidding, as in like with the phone kind of thing?
Yep.
I thought we couldn't take phones in there.
Well, the
poll watchers can.
The poll watchers can. Yeah. Yeah. So, and let's see.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Did you know all that, Johnny?
Haven't a clue.
I mean, Lynn, you have to know that I mean, I work with you and I read, and it just to hear it all over again is just really.
It's mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah. And remember in the 2020 election how we had a lot of grant money, and that's how we ended up getting the extra drop box, the extra drop boxes. We were able to purchase it with grant money. We were able to purchase a machine that opened the absentee ballots really quick because of grant money. Well, grant money, no more. No more. That's been completely eliminated. No one is allowed to accept any grant money. So that means the county boards of elections have to pay for their own everything. They wouldn't be able to buy equipment unless they've already budgeted for it or it's in the county budget. So that really ties the hands of the local boards of elections, and that puts the payment for all this on the taxpayer. So that's another really bad thing. And the very last bad thing, and then I'm going to stop and let everybody ask any questions. The power of the county board of elections was placed in the state's hands, and the state can essentially overturn any county's election results that they want to.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to have to repeat that one.
I kid, Johnny. I want to hear that again.
The state has taken the power away from the counties, and they can essentially overturn a county election if they want to, if they don't like the results. They have to go through a lot of hoops, but that's essentially what they've done. They say, I don't like your results. I'm going to say that they're invalid.
Wow. I'll be very interested to know how our elected officials who had a chance to vote on these issues voted. But I'd like to just hear their response. Maybe I don't watch enough of the local news, or maybe I don't read the paper enough, but I'm not so acquainted with the stance that our elected officials have on all of these variables that she's just given us.
Well, but let's just go back. We can say that James Beverly voted against it.
Okay.
Am I correct in all of that?
You are.
Marion Parrish voted against it.
Mm-hmm.
You are.
State Senator John Kennedy voted for it.
Yes, he was a sponsor. He was a sponsor of the bill.
Right, and he's right here in Macon.
John Kennedy.
Right, Senator John Kennedy voted for it.
And my representative, Dale Washburn, voted for it. And he, when I emailed him about it, he emailed me back and he said, I was proud to vote for it and I would do it again.
And that's Dale Washburn.
Dale Washburn.
Yeah, we want everybody to know the people who voted for it and against it.
Well, basically, it's party line. Democrats voted against it, and Republicans voted for it. Now we're going to go back.
Was there any variation from the party?
No.
Nobody.
No.
So this is just all red and blue.
Red and blue, and that's why it's so important for us to go out and vote. We have got to vote.
Mm.
You know, we were able to do some things because we were able to get Warnock, we were able to get Ossoff, and they're trying.
Yeah.
But if we don't get out and vote and we don't understand these laws, and Lynn, I appreciate you coming on. I'm hoping that we can get LJ on.
I'm so glad you came on.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. With Black Vote Matters, because we didn't, I mean, you know, I talked to her, but I want everybody in the community to understand, Lynn, we may have to have you back.
Okay. I'll be happy
Because
to.
a lot of times when people, and I like the way, Johnny, you break it down, because a lot of people don't understand it.
They don't. Yeah.
They hear it, and it's just so convoluted that, you know, we just kind of miss it. Mm-hmm. But if from what I'm hearing, I'm going to jail because I'm going to give them some water. I'm going to jail. Henry better get ready.
Oh, Lord.
We got a caller.
We got a caller. Hello, caller. How are you?
I'm outstanding. Hey, how are you doing?
We've been trying to get you on, LJ.
Yes, ma'am. I see that now. I was here in the barbershop. I had sent you a text last week. I didn't know, what day and what time that you wanted me to come on, but I'm all yours.
Okay. Do you have your Zoom? But we can just do it by radio. That's fine. Tell us about Black Vote Matters. We just had Lynn on that was talking about voter suppression. Tell me what's going on with you and Black Vote Matters.
Okay. You want me to speak on it now?
Yeah, speak on it now. You on the air?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, Black Voters Matter. Basically, it's a national organization. Basically, it's put together about 5 years ago by LaTasha Brown and Cliff Albright that are based in Atlanta. And right now we're in 16 states, and we're growing. Hopefully, we'll probably be at around 25 states by the end of the year. But basically, our whole thing is about advocating for any and everything that's affecting Black voters. So, of course, we deal mainly a lot with dealing with voter education and voter mobilization, and that kind of a thing. But our main thing is just dealing with any and every issue that are affecting us as Black people. So, of course, the voter suppression issue, that's something that we're working tirelessly to combat that problem and issue that we're having. We started a corporate accountability campaign where we've been holding a lot of these local or state corporations here in Georgia that have headquarters here, like Coca-Cola and Aflac, Georgia Power, and some of those, and putting pressure on them and their CEOs and some of the people who are the higher ups to denounce voter suppression and to denounce supporting any legislators that supported that legislation. So there are many, many things that we are involved in as far as engaging our people and engaging the people who need to be engaged when it comes to our rights. So we have a website. It's called Black Voters Matter Fund, FUND.org. We have a lot of things that are explaining why we do what we do, how we do what we do, and some of the different events and programs that we have going on right now.
Are you involved in any of the lawsuits that's going on right now?
Any lawsuits?
Is Black Vote Matters involved in any of the lawsuits?
The ones that are trying to overturn the law in court.
Oh, well, we are actively involved in any, and I don't want to speak on too much when it comes to that part of it, but yes, ma'am, we're actively involved in any and every effort just about that there is to combat voter suppression on every level, from the boardroom to the street level.
Well, I wanted to introduce you to Lynn Snyder. Lynn is with Georgia Women and Those Who Stand With Us, and she works with us. I'm a part of Georgia Women, and I wanted to make sure that you two connected, because I think you'd be a very powerful force here in the Middle Georgia area, so that we can encourage people. So we can encourage people to get out and vote. And what type of strategies do you have for that you're doing with Black Votes Matters to try to? I know that you said you did some things with the corporate. Are you out giving people? Yeah, I know I've got my T-shirt. I got my gear. I just thought I'd throw that in there. We want a sweatshirt and a mask, okay? But we want to. What are the kind of things that you're doing out there? LJ, I think
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But absolutely, we do a lot of different kind of things right now. Of course, we have, like you said, you had the T-shirt. We have a lot of what we call swag. BVM swag with T-shirt, hats, buttons.
Oh yeah,
fans.
we need swag.
Yeah, we have a lot of swag that we give away. Generally, it's through our text campaign. We say, text "We Matter" to 797979.
Slow it down. Say it again. Can somebody text that in? Text 797. They can get some swag. So say it again so we can hear it. Okay.
Text "We Matter" to 797979.
We Matter.
So they can text "We Matter" to 797979.
Absolutely. They get in our database and they'll be able to get some swag. If they're not able to contact anyone via that text, you can easily come by Habersham Records and show that text, and you can get you some swag.
Okay.
Here locally in Macon.
Lynn, don't you have an event coming up real soon?
We do. We're on Thursday. We're having a signing event in Rosa Parks Square from 4:30 to 6:30, and we're targeting some of the people that LJ was just talking about. Our CEOs, our leaders in the state. We're targeting the sports teams and some of the Georgia Board of Regents, and saying you need to stop giving money to these people who have supported the voter suppression laws, not just the individuals, but the PACs or political action committees that have tons of money to support the candidates that they want. So we're going at it from a financial standpoint, and money talks. So we want them to stop supporting the Republican candidates who have voted for this voter suppression law.
Now, they may not know what a signing event is. It's where you come out, you can pick up your cards. They have Georgia Women, cards. We have these really nice postcards. And Lynn will even give you a suggested script. So you don't have to worry about spelling or anything like that. We just need you to come out. Mm-hmm. And then she'll have the addresses of who you need to send it to. Just take it and send it to them.
Yeah, we even have the stamps. So we make it pretty easy for you. You can just copy the script, or you can write something very similar if you don't like what I've suggested. Right. And fill out the postcard, stick a stamp on it, and we put it in the mailbox. And that's one of the events that we're having. We're coming up, and we'll be doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be doing voter registration drives and things like that, which I know you do that too as well, LJ.
Yes, ma'am. Like we would love to support you guys on this event that's coming up.
Well, that's
right
awesome.
Now. And,
we would love to have you there.
Absolutely. In any event that you guys are doing, I would like to find a way to partner with you guys. Okay. We have a list of partners, and that's generally how we work. We work with partner organizations who are already on the ground or doing specific things, and we support them in the best way that we can. So, there are certain events that we lead and that we organize ourselves, but mostly we support partners that are doing these particular events. So I like to talk to you, probably off air, let you know some of the other ways that we have to support our partners.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Yep. We will connect.
And I would make sure that you connect. I certainly
Thank you,
will.
Brenda.
Let me ask both of you, in your dealings and in your work. I know generally in most cities, the schools of higher education, the colleges in those towns are normally involved in these kinds of issues. What kind of involvement do you get from colleges here?
Oh, man. Are you asking me or are you asking
I'm
Ms.
asking
Lynn?
both of you.
Ooh, you might want to let Ms. Lynn go first. I can go first if you want me to.
Well,
I'll go.
we have not had a ton of participation from the colleges. We have reached out to them. We've done some voter registration drives. We've done them at Mercer and at Wesleyan. And we're planning Fort Valley this fall. As long
Were
as
they
COVID.
successful in
It depends on what you mean by successful. We feel good if we can register 10 people. We're happy.
So would you do about 12?
We would like to register a whole bunch more, but a lot of people are already registered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. LJ?
Yeah, when it comes to colleges, I mean, to be honest with you, I've been in a few meetings with some students when it came to doing like outreach here locally, and they've kind of been told by the colleges a lot of times for them not to go to specific areas or to do specific things here in Macon. So, like a lot of the people who don't vote or the at-risk people or the people that you probably would need to reach, they've really been told not to engage with those people. Basically, that's the word I've gotten in most cases. Now, I've been able to do certain things like Mercer's Center for Collaborative Journalism and even the Macon State. I forgot her name. It was a lady at Macon State. She was a professor, and she was dealing with their data department. She was very helpful with helping us with some things with the group that I was been working with called Get Registered and Ready. And she gave us some data, some local figures here that helped us here in Macon from Macon State. But as far as just being like hands-on and being engaged with the people, no, not at all. And I think it's really a shame, especially with Mercer. My mother's a graduate of Mercer, but I think it's really a shame that Mercer is not as involved in outreach and community organizing as I think that they should, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we do have a problem with young people not voting in very high percentages. I don't know what they are, but young people are the lowest percentage of voters in the country.
Wow.
Hasn't that always been the case, or is it here recently? I thought that's kind of always been the case.
It's always been the case, Emily. Yeah, okay. It's always been that way. And young people tend to not understand the importance of voting down the ballot. They tend to vote in the presidential election, and they don't vote in the midterm. So they don't really care who's running for commissioner or mayor, and when those are the things that impact you the most, especially. If police brutality is your thing, you need to be voting in the local elections because they're the ones. Presidential election's not going to help you with that. Mm-hmm. So you need to understand the importance of each one of those elections. If you want to worry about child care, well, that's a statewide issue. So education. You said that first off, LJ. Education.
Education.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sure what we need to do. I mean, because we're doing a good job. What is it that we can do more of?
Yeah, well, I think on the school level, I think a lot of definitely teaching civics and really getting more engaged in civics locally, like in the schools. I think there needs to be more things explained more so not from just the traditional sense of, okay, yeah, this is the House, this is Congress, this is this, like actually use examples, like show people who are actually in some of these, seats or they hold some of these positions, right now, and then talk about their function, like, and how they do what they do. I think a lot of our people just don't know a lot of the basics when it just comes to how just like what people do and how it's done.
And how it's done.
Even when it comes to how people think that, when people say, well, Georgia turned blue, when we talk about Georgia turning blue, right? And then we have these voter suppression bills that were just able to be passed on the House floor, and people were confused. Like, most people that I talked to were confused on how that was able to happen. It was like, how did that happen when Georgia turned blue? Like, I thought we were blue. How is it that, Republicans were just able to pass a bill, without, without opposition? So, once it was explained that, hey, well, the House and the State House and the State Senate, didn't get turned blue. It was just, it was just on a federal level. Now you having people say, oh, okay, now I understand. So, there's just basic things like that, that need to be explained more in detail.
LJ, we've got a comment, and they said they blame the candidate for not reaching them. I'm not sure it's a candidate issue.
No, it's definitely not a candidate issue. No, it's definitely not a candidate issue. It's just people now understanding the process in general. I mean, it could be any candidate. A lot of the voters just don't understand the process.
That's correct.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that's correct. The what has happened, though, there was a comment in the chat. Are they doing this because they're afraid of being defeated again and running scared? Yes, that's why they're doing this. This is exactly why they're doing this. And instead of reaching out, as the other comment in there, blaming the candidate for not reaching out, they should be reaching out to their constituents. Why did you vote blue for the Senate? What are the issues? What is important to you? That's what a candidate should be doing if they're representing us, but they're not. They're doing what the party tells them to do.
And you're right, Lynn. They don't listen to us. They don't listen to us. And we've got to, we want to make sure that people get the information. Lynn, I want you to go over again the May 13th event, because that's really important.
It is important.
Because we really don't have a lot of time. I know you mentioned there's a time limit on, and it's a reason why we brought her on so early, because when do we have to get that information in?
The information for the signing event, there really isn't a time constraint on it, because we're working now towards 2022 election. That's what we're working for. The 2020 is over. They passed these bills in 2021, and now we have to focus on what we're going to do to stop this craziness for the next election. And I'll speak about the signing event in just a second, Brenda, if you'll just let me say.
Sure.
There are going to be voter purges. In fact, they've already started.
What?
They're going to be purging 113,000 voters this year. So you must, yes, 113,000. Some are people who haven't voted. If you haven't voted in a while, you're going to get purged.
And that's going to be in the state of Georgia, correct?
Correct. Just Georgia.
Can you explain to the listeners what do you mean by purged?
Well, say you registered to vote and you have a little voter registration card, but you haven't voted in a while. Say you didn't vote since 2012. The last time you voted was for Barack Obama. Your voter registration will be removed from the rolls, and you will no longer have voter registration. You would have to re-register. Okay, so that's what a voter purge is. And they're going to be doing this that started this month and go through August. And that should be all that they're going to do for this year. They're going to look, but every month they're going to look to see if someone has died and that kind of thing. So that they've done that all along. But if you get a card in the mail saying that you haven't voted in the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, and your name will be removed, you have 40 days to call the Board of Elections and tell them, I don't want my voter registration to be removed. But if you ignore it, your name will be removed.
So what about the proactive person? How does the proactive person go and say, you know what, let me check and see if I'm still active
Right.
with my voters card? What do they do?
That's a great question. And if you have a driver's license, you can go online and check your voter registration status. And I recommend that you do that regularly, even if you do vote in every election. And the website you go to is www.mvp.sos.ga.gov. It's my voter page, MVP. If you don't remember that, you can just Google my voter page Georgia, and it will take you to the site. You fill in your driver's license number and your date of birth and your first initial and last name. No, actually, you don't even need your driver's license. I'm sorry about that. You need a driver's license to register, but you can check your registration without it. Go to that website. You put your first initial, last name, date of birth, and it will tell you if you're registered and what your polling place is. And I say do that regularly because they can change your polling place up to 30 days prior to the election. So you need to do it. You need to change it. You need to
back that train up. That train up right there, Lynn. Back it up. Bring it back.
My goodness.
You said that they can change your polling place up to 30 days prior to the election.
And how you
they have to notify. Yeah, they have to notify you within 30 days of the election that your polling place has been changed. So that's why I recommend you check your polling place regularly. Now, if you've gotten a card in the mail that says you will be voting here, that's pretty much an assurance that that's where you're going to vote.
You know, Lynn, and this is for you and LJ. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
I would like to know too, is there any resources out there for people who need to get an ID? Because we know you can't vote without an ID, and I just kind of wondered, you know, what was going on with that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there are a lot of different organizations that are doing identification for people who don't have identification. A good friend of mine, Marshall Talley, was working with an organization that I don't think they're active anymore, but they're we actually want to call Black Voters Matter. We want to call with a few of these organizations that are going to be doing some identification events where they're going to be engaged in different people who don't have identification and helping them to get identification. So just kind of stay tuned because I'm definitely going to be getting with Miss Lynn, and and you're going to hear about it locally. So just kind of keep an eye out for a few of these organizations that are going to be popping up, doing these different, having these different events and places that people can come and get their identification.
And what you can do is also keep, we have All of a Sudden Facebook page. We do. And we can take and post those resources out there for you as soon as we get them. And just to plug for Lynn's list, you're able to go on to Georgia Women website, and I'll take and put that information on our Facebook page so that you can have it and go on and start receiving Lynn's list. And then you can stay current about what's happening and the type of advocacy that you can do in terms of, writing your senators and your congressmen and things like that. I've been working with Lynn. I don't know how many years, Lynn, about 4 years.
4 years. Yeah. Yep. A little bit over.
Well, we just want to say thank you for all that you do.
Gosh, yeah.
LJ, you and Lynn both, thank you so very much. We're getting comments. Yeah, it's I think a lot of people don't know Lynn. I mean, because it's so complicated, or it sounds complicated. Mm-hmm. And it takes her like a lot of time just to go and do all that research. Yeah.
Because it's tremendous about what's going on.
It
and
is.
That voter registration is just a small part of what's going on.
Yeah.
Correct. That's correct. One of the things too, besides making sure that you're registered, and if you're not registered, then get registered and get the appropriate ID, and we'll work on that for within the next year. We should have everything in line, but plan your vote. Mm-hmm. It's really, really important. If you have a full-time job and you don't think you can be off most of the day of election day and stand in line for 6 hours because you're going to lose your job, then don't wait till election day to vote. Vote early.
Absolutely.
Vote early. Plan your vote. If that's if you always want to vote on election day, then make sure you have plenty of time, so that you don't have to in case you have to stand in line.
And bring a snack and bring some water.
And bring your own snack and your own water.
Otherwise,
And a chair.
Otherwise, Lynn Snyder's gonna have to, Big Hen gonna have to get me out of jail because I've already planned to go to jail because I'm giving out water. Okay.
Yeah, let's make investments in canteens.
Yeah. And I think you all may have known that in 2020 and even in the runoff, Uber was supplying rides to the polls. And we'll be working on some of that as well, trying to make sure that people who don't have rides can get rides, and you don't have to go on election day. You can go to the Board of Elections and vote early or another vote place, and Uber will take you and it won't cost anything. And that's done from donations. Uber gets.
Share? Like if I'm in line, can I share with somebody in front of me?
Share water. You going to jail.
If I share the water, if I'm in line,
you can't give out any water.
Wait a minute. See that's what I'm saying. Like that.
So you got your backpack.
I got my backpack and I'm standing in line, and the one person in front of me is about to faint, and I say, "Hey, would you like some of my water?" Is that too also not allowed? Or my understanding is that if I'm just a random person and I'm saying, "Here's some water, here's water, here's water," that you could get arrested for. But if I'm in line and I'm eating a sandwich and I say, "Hey, Johnny, would you like half of my sandwich?"
What is it?
Long as it ain't ham.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that you can probably share, but
but see, you don't know for sure.
Volunteers giving out water is the difference. But I'm not sure about it exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So,
Okay.
No, technically, from my understanding, no, you're not supposed to give out any water, like period. Like it doesn't matter. Yeah, period. Yeah,
or ham sandwiches either. I can't share my ham sandwich.
It's from the way that it was written. You're not supposed to give away anything to anyone for any reason.
That is absolutely crazy.
So what giving away and sharing is the same thing?
That is just crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's just really fearful. Lynn and LJ, this has been a very informative show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very informative.
Yeah.
And I so appreciate.
I want to say one more thing. Let's make November 8th, 2022, voter suppression backfire day.
Absolutely.
Backfire day.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you know what? We're gonna all work together, Lynn, to make sure that it's backfire day, because you have a platform up here. You and LJ, y'all know y'all can come.
Appreciate it.
Lynn is gonna be one of my very best friends.
What was that?
LJ says you're going to be one of his very best friends.
All right.
You'll have to stand in line, LJ.
We love Lynn.
I've been thinking that I would hold a sign and say, if they wouldn't let us give a water, I'd hold a sign that said, "I'll hold your place in line while you go get some refreshments." But I don't know if that would be legal either.
Hey, if that's illegal too.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just going up there with the New Way hot dogs. That's all I'm doing. I'm going up there with the New Way hot dogs and chill.
You know what? I think we may leave you in jail, Brenda.
Well, I will tell you guys that there are some strategies that some very, very creative and innovative strategies are being put in place to kind of combat some of these rules.
Okay.
I really can't go on it public, but definitely there are some strategies that are going to be effective when it comes to some of these things.
Well,
so we're just trying not to put them out there now.
No, don't put them out there now. Don't put them out there now, because we got some people who can't keep a secret. Like Emily, I'm just saying.
How did I just get implicated all of a sudden?
No, we'll have trained dogs that walk around with water packs on.
Right, exactly. Like we got to figure this thing out.
We'll go get Lassie. We'll go get Lassie.
Oh, that was that dog. There was a dog, Lassie, that walked around, with the canteens on his head.
We'll just go get Lassie and Ren 1010.
It's Ren 1010.
We'll go to the Me channel. We'll go to Me TV. When the world was still dog friendly like that.
Well, can I tell you guys something really quick? I was just in a barbershop, right, and I was having this conversation with some guys, and I was looking at a documentary on the Reconstruction, actually last night, and I'm very familiar with Reconstruction, but they were talking about a time period when I think it was 1866, if I'm not mistaken, when they had something called the Black Code that they put out, and and right after I guess Ulysses Grant was elected, that's when they got rid of that, and then that's when they really brought in the 14th Amendment, what have you, the way it was actually being implemented. But long story short, they were talking about how 80% at that time, of course, they didn't allow women voters, but 80% of the black male voters at that time that were allowed to vote voted, registered to vote. But the sense of urgency is what stood out to me, because they were talking about also how there were black people that were hiding in bushes and waiting for opportunities to be able to vote, and they were collectively coming to that. We had to have militias, literal militias, put together in certain areas so that people could come out and vote. And that's how serious they were though about voting, where they were willing to hide in the bushes for hours at a time just to find the right opportunity to go vote, so they wouldn't, lose their life. And, I know it's a different time period, and, we take certain things for granted because, we live in a society where I guess, we've had these rights growing up in this era, but understanding our history and what we came from, and respecting our ancestors completely, and not even just from the civil rights era, but this has been a very, very long time, coming for us to be able to, get to this point, and for us to still deal with some of these issues shows that, we still need to have that sense of urgency. So.
But I just want to thank our guest, because it's coming to the end of our show, and you know what? Our show is really moving because it didn't. I mean, really, we could have talked a whole lot longer.
Yes, it's been quite informative and valuable. Very valuable.
Thank you so much, Lynn. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh no, you just gave us a gift, and also thank you so much, LJ. And I want y'all to remember to come out on May 13th. At Rosa Parks Plaza, that's right across the street from the Government Center, for those that don't know, and come out and help us with our signing event. Everything is going to be just right there. And I think we can give out water, don't worry about going to jail.
And I'm going to do my very best to get the entertainment community to come in and see if they can help entice people to come to any of these ongoing and events that you've got going forward. Maybe that will entice and enhance people to come.
We didn't even
okay?
think about that. That's awesome.
Good idea. Yeah.
So we're going to see you guys next week, and LJ, I'm going to sign off with you, and I just want to just thank everybody. Wow, this was a great show.
It was. Thank you so much, Lynn. We love you, appreciate you so much.
And by the way, and we're going to be back next week, and we're going to be back on the scene. Lynn, we hope that you become a regular listener to our show. Watch us on FaceTime, and we're going to share this so that we can get Facebook.
Yeah. Share us on Facebook. Well, Brenda just got rid of her flip phone, so just
you're so low down.
Don't hold that against her.
You're so low down.
LJ, we thank you so much, man.
You know what though? They keep the music on. I think I did good today.
You did very well.
We got to keep talking for another 18 seconds.
And surely you're capable of that.
You know what though? We're getting a lot of jokes in, but you know what though? It was really a great show and informative. And see you on May 13th, and see you on next Monday, 5:30 to 6:34 all of a sudden.
AM,
You know we still got a little bit of time. Like,
Yeah, we're
one
still
minute.
here. Yeah, so don't forget. We thank everybody for listening. Please get more to listen. That was good.